Racist cop shoves black woman's daughter. Unaware her mother leads prosecutions on concealed police crimes. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now let's return to our main character. On a mild afternoon in a mid-sized American city, the kind where storefront windows reflect slow-moving clouds and people measure time by traffic lights, 12-year-old Maya Thompson waited near a crosswalk outside a neighborhood library, her backpack resting against her knees and her sneakers scuffing the concrete as she traced invisible shapes with her toe. And although the street felt ordinary, something about the air made her keep her shoulders tight and her eyes forward, as if she had learned early that attention could arrive without warning. Maya was small for her age, but carried herself with careful composure, the quiet confidence of a child raised to be polite, observant, and respectful of rules she didn't make. And when a police cruiser rolled to a stop nearby, she didn't stare or shrink. She simply stepped back to give space, the way her mother had taught her, hands visible, posture calm, voice ready to answer if spoken to. Officer Ryan Walker stepped out of the car with the practiced ease of someone used to being obeyed, his boots touching the sidewalk with a certainty that suggested the street belonged to him. And as he scanned the area, his gaze settled on Maya, lingering a beat longer than necessary. Not because she had done anything wrong, but because she was there, because she was seen, because assumptions are often quieter than sirens and harder to argue with. He asked a question in a clipped tone about loitering and permits, words that sounded official enough to feel final. And Maya responded softly that she was waiting for her mother to finish inside, her voice steady even as her fingers tightened around the strap of her backpack. And in that moment the space between them narrowed, not by steps, but by misunderstanding. The officer gestured for her to move along, his hand cutting the air in a firm motion meant to hurry her. And when she hesitated, confused about where she was supposed to go, his impatience surfaced as a brusque nudge of authority that sent her a half step off balance. Not enough to hurt, but enough to startle, enough to draw a few glances from passers-by, who quickly looked away. Maya caught herself, cheeks warm, heart racing, and stood still, eyes down, absorbing the weight of the moment without protest, because she had learned that questions could make things worse and silence could sometimes make them pass. Around them, the city continued as if nothing had happened. A bus hissed at a stop. A cyclist rang a bell. A clock somewhere marked the minute. And Officer Walker moved on, satisfied that order had been restored, unaware that the small moment he dismissed had already begun to echo. Inside the library, Angela Thompson reviewed case notes at a long wooden table, her pen moving with measured precision as she cross-checked timelines and initials, a habit formed over years of reading between lines others hoped would never be read. And while she worked, she felt the familiar pull of responsibility that came with her role, not the kind that wore a badge or carried a weapon, but the kind that carried the quiet power of scrutiny. Angela was known in certain circles as thorough and unyielding, the attorney who followed threads no one wanted pulled, the one tasked with leading prosecutions when internal safeguards failed and concealed wrongdoing demanded daylight. And as she gathered her files to meet her daughter outside, she had no idea that the ordinary afternoon had already shifted, that a brief encounter on a sidewalk had drawn an invisible line between assumption and accountability, and that the story unfolding would not be about noise or outrage, but about what happens when small actions meet the steady gravity of truth. The walk from the library doors to the sidewalk took less than 30 seconds. Yet for Angela Thompson it felt longer, stretched by the weight of unfinished thoughts and the familiar sense that her work never truly stayed behind when she stood up from a table. Because even as she pushed through the glass doors and scanned the street for Maya, her mind was still sorting through dates, internal memos, and patterns that never appeared accidental. She spotted her daughter near the crosswalk, standing exactly where they had agreed, backpack held close, posture composed in that way that always made Angela proud and uneasy at the same time. Because no child should have to learn composure before carefree. Angela raised a hand, smiling, and Maya saw her instantly, the tension in her shoulders loosening as she stepped forward. But as they came together, Angela noticed the small details that most people missed, the tightness around Maya's mouth, the way her eyes flicked briefly